everybody. Well, hello. This is Anna Abramowitz, and today I'm going to talk to you about the quality of the things that we put out, putting sparkle on PowerPoint, and how we really need to change the way we do things. All right, but first of all, let me make sure that everything is working. And if you're here, I'm looking forward to seeing some of your feedback. Good or bad, I got thick skin, baby. I think I'm also trying to be related to an elephant. So, first off, I want to start this off with something really cool I read today, and it's from Marcus Aurelius' Meditations, one of my most favorite books of all time. And here's what it said. The things you think about determine the quality of your mind. Your soul takes on the color of your thoughts. And that's not necessarily what I want to talk about today, but I thought about this whole idea about, if you put, let's say you have a bowl of water and you want to change the color of that water, and you get to do that. Let's say you have a dye that's red, and every day you add a drop of dye to that bowl of water. And probably for a long, long time, you won't see any change, right? Any change in color. It'll look like you have no effect at all. But then all of a sudden, what will happen is one day you will add a drop, one more drop, and all of a sudden it'll turn pink, right? And then you keep on adding, nothing happens for a while, and all of a sudden it will actually look red. And I think about that as us building our skills, right? And one of my people who I constantly listen to and refer to as Jim Rohn. And Jim Rohn always said, and if you haven't listened to Jim Rohn, you guys got to, because he's amazing, right? And one of the things that Jim always talked about, right, is when you're at a workplace, you don't ask, what am I getting here, right? What's the paycheck, and what's in it for me? You ask, what am I becoming here, right? And I think about that bowl of water and how we as e-learning developers and as designers, what we do is we, every day, depending on how you think and depending on the skills you're practicing, you're adding a little drop of dye into that bowl of water and making it become something. And so one lesson there is you got to keep doing it to see some effect. And the second lesson is, what are you putting in there every day, right? And so yesterday we had a really solid conversation. And it was really about the fact that a lot of us, when we're working as e-learning developers, as instructional designers, as people who craft online learning, sometimes we get handed absolute poo-poo when it comes to storyboards or e-learning. And then what happens is you're supposed to dress that up and make it awesome, right? And the challenge with that is, some people said, hey, even if I got a crappy PowerPoint to convert and turn it into something meaningful, and it was terrible, I would still, add my sparkle or add my visual design to make it meaningful and beautiful. And the problem with that is there's a big ass problem with that. What's the problem? The problem is that you're putting, basically, lipstick on a pig, right? And the worst thing is, I don't care how good the shade of lipstick is, right? The end user, the learner, still knows you're giving them a pig. They're not stupid. They know what it is. I don't care how much you dressed it up. It's still a pig, right? It doesn't serve the purpose. It doesn't meet their needs. And so really what you're doing is you're kind of just masking that this is originally a crappy experience. I don't care how beautiful it ends up being. I don't care how interactive. I don't care how many colors, schemes. I don't care if you use the last Pantone, whatever the heck, people are putting out there as the latest themes, spring themes. I don't care. Nobody cares about that stuff. Our end users actually notice very little of all those little nuances that we add. It enhances the experience, but you got to have a baseline of awesome, right? And everything else you add on top of that shouldn't be mending something that's already broken. It should be actually just enhancing something that's already super awesome. So the thing is, and I think my message today to you is you're gonna get good at something, right? And if you're getting good at putting lipstick on a pig, you got to step back and be like, is this what I want to do for the rest of my life? Mask up crappy work? Maybe, right? That's fine. That's your decision. But just go into it knowingly, right? Because you're not doing anybody any favors. In fact, you're actually hurting the end user by saying, I'm just going to not say anything, because you stand between the final, the end user and their experience. And so it's up to you when you see something that's boring, when you see something that's a piece of poo, it's your job, and you know it, it's your job to stick up for that end user and say, this isn't good enough. So you got to push it back and be like, this is boring. Lacks context. I can't turn magically this into something that's relevant for people. It's missing all of that. So please take this back, rework it. I can help you. I've got some ideas, but we got to make this foundation solid, because otherwise we're building a house of cards and I'm just adding on dazzle, but it's still a house of cards, right? And so it's funny because we're all meant to be really socially very polite, and everybody's very kind, and everybody gives us, likes, and everybody gives us really lukewarm feedback. But what if we just started being a little bit more honest about the fact that we're trying to actually have impact, engage people in a meaningful way? So when somebody gives you something crappy, you actually tell them, give them some constructive feedback and tell them how to improve it, right? There's a lot of people out here who complain about, the state of the things, and they have meaningless conversations that don't actually lead to any kind of action, right? Say it. Just say it. It's crap. I just got somebody sent me something the other day, and it had something to the effect of, like, the first screen that it got into was, this is compliance training, annual compliance training. That's the first screen that I see as an end user. Now, if you saw that as the first screen and something that you're going to invest the next 45 or 30 minutes into, would that motivate you in any way? In fact, to me, I was like, man, this title is basically telling me to shut down for the next 30 minutes because I don't want to be here. Oh, good, great. Annual compliance training. That was the title. And I was like, is this anything in it for me other than just a check mark for my company? Sell it to me from the very beginning. How you can prevent fraud at work, how you can keep your job and be super happy and successful while not having to, whatever, right? Sell it to me, right? Any organization that's worth their salt is going to want to put things out that are to their employees that are actually going to be meaningful and useful, right? You got to do that. So if you see stuff and you get handed a storyboard and from the first line, it says something terrible, God damn it, say something, right? Push it back and say, hey, this could be better. Let me help you before you go and go, you know what? I'm just going to put up with this storyboard because I don't feel like saying anything, ruffling feathers, because I'm not into, I'm not assertive, or I'm not aggressive, or I don't want to stir up things. Stir them up. It's your job because you can see it. It's like being aware of something is not enough, or knowing something inside and going home and bitching about it is not enough. You're going to have to start taking steps to just say, this sucks, okay? And you maybe not want to say it, this sucks, because the other person will immediately probably go, nope, I don't even know what to do. This is the best I could do. But if you say, listen, this isn't as engaging as it could be, and I've got some awesome idea, they're not going to take very long, but it will definitely improve the quality of what we've got here. How about we ask some questions? How about we come up with some situations where somebody could place this in context? How about we talk to people who are actually using this information and find out the key points that they found the most provocative or useful or whatever, right? Like, start pushing back. When people just lie down and say, oh, I'm just going to dress this up because that's my forte, you're not helping the end user. You're giving them a pig. They know it's a pig. You just put it, and everybody, and basically what do they believe? That nobody cares about them, right? But I know you care. But now you have to start acting on that, right? You have to start acting on the caring. So, and you know what? I know for some people, they see feedback as criticism. Some people don't have tough skin. But if you are genuine and you keep pushing back and you keep coming up with great ideas, because I know some of you live this. This is your geek dream. Like, you go home and you deconstruct things. You get inspiration from, like, you watch games, you watch magazines, you get an ad in the thing, you're like, oh man, look how they grip me, or I love this font, or I love the way they said this. This is so cool. I wish we could have learning that spoke this genuinely to people. You're in the crowd. I know it. So what I want you to do is I want you to start saying what you believe. If something needs a fixin', you say it. You don't take it laying down. You don't just go, okay, I'm going to take this pig and make it look as good as possible by using the right shade of Pantone pink. Who cares, right? Is that what you want to get good at? If it is, then this isn't the stream for you. That's just going to go away. So go away and go do some sort of a challenge where you create a toy that adds no value, okay? That's fine. There's places to do that and do that well. But here, I just want you to start being honest, right? Calling people out on it. And it's funny, years ago, I had years ago, I had this mentor, and this was when my skin was very, very, very paper thin. And I gave her something, and she came into we were working together, and she came into my office. I'll never forget this because it was pretty intense. And whatever I sent her, she printed it off. And in the print, you could tell that I didn't really think about how it was laid out. And she's like, what is this? And I said, what? Well, the graphic designer's going to fix this. She goes, really? Oh, really? The graphic designer's going to fix your spelling mistakes here or the way you've aligned it? And I'm like, I guess they're not. She goes, you already knew that. And I'm like, yeah. She goes, listen, you give me shit, I come here and I give you shit. And I was absolutely flabbergasted, right? But it is that hard talk. And you know why she did that? Because she cared. She did it because she cared about not just me and me pushing me, but the person who's going to get that end product. And they're going to have to somehow figure it out from themselves instead of us giving them a really solid product. And I know it sounds all, for you guys, you're like, oh man, you're pushing me, Anna, and this, that's not realistic. When I could do all the Steve Jobs quotes all I want, Steve wouldn't accept things and he would throw them at the wall and be like, I want better, right? Well, why not? Why not a little bit of that? I think that would be awesome. So if this sounds like something you want to get good at, if you want some honest feedback, if you want some tough love, and if you want to start creating things that are maybe next level, you're feeling underused, right? Like there's so much potential. Maybe we should talk. So at the end of this month, we're launching a masterclass in interactive stories. And for me, the people that I'm trying to vet into this program are people who want to be the best, and unapologetically so. They're not afraid to say, I want to be the best, because, and it's funny, I think when you set a goal for yourself, it's scary, right? Because if you get the goal to be really focused, then failure is quite evident, right? If your goals are fuzzy, then you're like, it's all right. I'm making it, I'm doing it, I'm kind of crawling forward. But if you set a definite goal and you say, I'm going to be the best at this, then failure is very clear. But that's okay, because it's also, I find this is crazy. The minute you set that goal for yourself, then what happens is, because we're kind of these goal-seeking machines, right? All of a sudden, things that you didn't know were supposed to be there or had been there this whole time start clicking into place. And it's epic. It's awesome. And it's actually just weird, right? Like this whole serendipity thing about things just kind of coming together. So if any of the things I said today resonated with you, if you're the kind of person who is okay now saying, I want to be the best. If you're the kind of person who's been maybe stuck there and just needs that kick in the butt to take yourself to the next level, then I'll put the link underneath the video. You can talk to me. We'll figure out where you're at and maybe I can help. All right. So I hope that this was helpful. I hope I ruffled some feathers. I hope that if totally you didn't like anything I said, that you won't come into my lives anymore. Because I got more of this, right? And I'm not saying this because I want you to be like, oh, you know, Anna's just talking, you know, because this is fun. No. This is what I do. And, you know, when I told you about that compliance course that I saw, I was absolutely blunt because I know that I'm an advocate for the end user. I have to be. Nobody else is going to be. They're just going to get it. They're the passive recipient. And I know I want to have impact. I want them to have a good life. So I'm advocating for them. So when I give that tough love feedback, it's got to happen, right? It's got to happen. You got to do the same thing. So if that resonates with you, I hope you do it. I hope you do it today. All right. So my friends, I'll talk to you next time. See you tomorrow. Bye.